Good morning, or whatever it is. What is it? Morning, afternoon? I don't know. All I know is this market is dumping like a rock. Hello. Not true, Jamie. Sometimes I do extreme streams during big up moves too, but yeah, I actually wasn't really paying much attention today, and then I jumped on and I'm like, holy crap. Market falling apart today. Thought I'd jump on, see if you guys had any questions, if anyone's jumping out of any windows or something. Pretty extreme drop. Or just an extreme drop either way, but it's yeah. I'm just trying to get a good feel for the market. Just kind of jumped on, to be honest with you guys. Trying to get a feel for it. What's up, TA? I mean, just very crazy down moves. Dash looks like it's already bottomed a little bit. It was down 25%. Link down 22%. Looks like our sell signal on Link worked out very well. Oversold, going to bounce at some stage, Jamie. Yeah, I'm just not exactly sure when. ETH kind of, I was thinking ETH may bounce off of, we've had a line here on ETH for a long time. Let's get back out to the 2 hour. What's up, Rob? Yeah, I was thinking ETH may bounce down here off of, is that our trend line? A couple of trend lines on Ethereum. Muhammad, 9.6K, thinking 9.6, so a couple more $100. We actually have a measured move on this head and shoulders for Bitcoin to about 98, which is pretty close to your 96, Muhammad. So that may be, we're kind of in a range right now. The scary part is that if you look at Bitcoin right here, since the right shoulder, see the cascades are shorter, and we really don't have a ton of volume down here. Hopefully that stays that way, and we can do a bottom right here. So we shall see. Ethereum also had a head and shoulders. Speaking of that, Kilber. Yeah, head and shoulders there. Dash, but a very aggressive down day. Yeah, Link down at 11. We topped out at 20, guys. Topped out at 20 on Link, down 50%. A very significant down move. Bitcoin going from 12.3 down to 10. It's a pretty big move down. Ethereum was looking golden. And actually, this head and shoulders got negated at the 411 level. Now we're back down at the neckline one more time. So very interesting charts right here, to be honest with you. Yeah, we were. And the power hour, I mean, we've been talking about patience for the past week or so. ETH started having a good move. We jumped on some ETH, and then it started fudding around a little bit, but it did negate that head and shoulders pattern. Talked about the head and shoulders on Bitcoin yesterday. The entire show we were talking about having to hold this low. Obviously, did not do that, and then a subsequent third drop today here right now, pretty much completing the head and shoulders target area for Bitcoin right now. So ideally that puts a stop to the carnage on the downside. Unfortunately, it's hard. I mean, it's very steep, and it's a drop with no bounces, and those are very dangerous. Those are very dangerous. And the one thing we talked about today is we were talking maybe about a month and a half, something like that. I don't know the exact dates. We were talking about how during every single dip in the market, nothing was breaking down. We would see some pretty decent red days. We're talking, 4, 5, 6, 7% red days. But if you're actually paying attention to the market and actually listening to what was happening and watching and staying in tune with it, nothing was breaking down. Everything was coming back to support levels, and it was really easy to hold, to be honest with you, to hold and to add on some of those drops. It really wasn't an issue, but things have changed a little bit here in the past, probably the past week and a half. We've seen all those rallies that we just came out of started to top out. We saw a lot of pie exit signals, and then we ended up in a situation where bounces weren't sustaining. We would try to retake highs, and that wasn't working. And then culminating in majority cash positions for a lot of us. And I know some tried Ethereum and hopefully got stopped out of that guy. But yeah, really just a very interesting market the past week or two. Looks like Bitcoin has kind of stalled down here. We haven't seen any additional moves to the downside. Let's take a look around. We got Ethereum down about 13%. Rimla says buy the dip situation, at least for a bounce. Good opportunity. Potentially. Could have said that the past couple of days too, and that wouldn't have worked out so well. After you've had big run-ups, it's difficult to say that every buy the dip opportunity is a buying opportunity. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. We've been, again, preaching patience, and patience means waiting for your setups, whatever that may be. And if this is the type of environment where you thrive, more power to you. Nothing wrong with that at all, actually. So let's take a look down. Let's go back to my standard setup, looking at the daily and the 2-hour chart. Let's kind of see what's going on here. I haven't adjusted my lines yet here, or my coins yet. This is supposed to be in order of top 20. Speaking of which, did anyone else notice that Polkadot is now number 5 on CoinMarketCap? Isn't that kind of the strangest thing? Very strange to me. I don't know how in the hell Polkadot's worth $5 billion right out of the gate, but there you go. So regardless, let's go ahead and check things out here. I mean, so far we did appear to have, like I mentioned, stagnated down here. Unfortunately, we're not seeing a tremendous bouncing action. We're just kind of flat. So Bitcoin down here, head and shoulders pattern, basically already fulfilled the measured move here. So there's a good possibility that we could bottom, but we're not getting any major bounces as of yet. Ethereum back down to a neckline of a head and shoulders pattern that it already negated. Unfortunately, we stepped in with really heavy volume the past couple of days and really no bounces at all in the past, I don't know, ever since the close of 2 days ago, whatever that is, a day and a half. Actually, almost 2 days. It's 15 minutes until the day closed. So, yeah, pretty much no bounces in 2 days. And, yeah, I mean, hopefully we can bottom out here. I mean, Ethereum still has a very long-term supportive trend line on it, which we've been looking at. And so I don't mind this longer term for Ethereum, but we're definitely going to have some work to do for this to look healthy again. It's definitely not healthy on the immediate bottom left side of anything. All right, XRP doing whatever the hell this is up here and culminating in a big move to the downside. DOT, recent addition to the cryptocurrency in general, somehow up here at number 5. And kind of a rounded top a little bit here. Looks like we are trying to move lower finally with the market. Only down 5%, which is showing a tremendous amount of strength for Polkadot. Just mentioned Link down 20+%. And I've got a lot of words here. Exit signals for Link up here about the 18.5 level, I think is what it was. 18, something like that was our exit signal for Link. A secondary selling point up here. And subsequent pretty big rollover. Unfortunately, volume only stepped in on that major down move. Would like Link to set up again, but it's been just a tremendous run for Link to get up into the top. It was number 5 until Polkadot decided came along and kicked its ass. So, but Chainlink firmly up at number 6 at this stage. It's Bitcoin Cash is kind of challenging it, but they're both going down about 8%. So I don't know. We'll see. Chainlink may drop down to 7, maybe further than that in time. We didn't have a major exit signal, so we have been waiting for Link to come back, and we've been keeping an eye on it, but just really hasn't done anything worthy of an entry here lately. Cardano, we no real super clear exit signal on Cardano, other than this topping action up here, which is it's loosely a pi method exit, but really on this trend line, which is at about the same level. And then, actually I mentioned a while back this would be a good short on the break of this trend line because it was just supported for so long. And you'd be sitting really pretty right now, actually, if that was the case. That'd have been a good short down to 30+% right there. Third Eye, why are the stocks going down? They're taking crypto down with them. They are, aren't they, Third Eye? They are taking crypto down with them. No one knows exactly why the markets move in 99% of circumstances. All I can say is you just have to go with it. That's pretty much what you got to do, unfortunately. Jamie Smith, would you advise moving to cash to see what happens or wait to see what happens if no setup? Are we still in a bull market cycle? We've actually yesterday, speaking of that, our market timing for Bitcoin put us into a correction today. I mean, it's obvious we're not coming back. So the market timing cycle is market timing signal. That's the word I meant to use. The market timing signal we use. Yeah, we just kind of got the exit signal today. You're supposed to wait to the close, but it was pretty obvious early on that this move would have killed it. So right now we're in a holding pattern. In my opinion, I don't like to just hold through massive down moves. I really prefer to step to the sidelines and wait for things to kind of even themselves out, show their hand, because right now you see the selling, but you don't know if there's going to be further selling pressure or if there's going to be some bottoming action or if we're going to see some side. I mean, you really have no idea from here what's going to happen. So usually holding in these moments is a really bad idea. You should have been out already. Like I said, I mean, at least that right here at about 11.1 for BTC. If you're even in it at all, I mean, we really didn't have any major entry signals for Bitcoin. We talked a little bit about buying, but just a little bit because the market looked like it was just kind of moving around. We did get some decent volume. So like I said, we did talk about entering up here a little bit, but you would have been stopped out. So you shouldn't even be in the market right now, to be honest with you. Not with big positions. You could have had an entry position and you wouldn't have gotten hurt too bad on that. So thanks for joining me, guys. Unfortunately, it's under some calamitous circumstances. If you guys would mind hitting the like button, YouTube really enjoys that. And yeah, so if you guys are hanging out, scroll down a little bit. I think it's a thumbs up. I don't know what it is these days. Smash the like button. I would appreciate it. And if you guys know anyone that is into crypto, share it as well. Maybe the money is ringing the market. Maybe the money is rising as market makers are taking their profits from all the gains over the past months. Well, Rimla, market makers don't actually make profits the same way you and I try to make profits. Market makers actually, their job is to provide liquidity, and they make good money. Don't get me wrong, but market makers, while they may hold a core position, in fact, they may even be mandated to hold some of whatever they're making the market in. They actually make it on the spread. Market makers will buy and sell to the market at hand, and they take a small spread. So, they don't actually. It's not like they bought it 3,000 and sold it 12 and taken. It doesn't really work like that for them. Some may do that, but that's not going to be a core of what they do there. Litecoin got hit. Let's keep walking down and seeing what we can find here. So we had Cardano, Atom down 16%. Atom was very interesting. This one a little bit hard to get involved with, which meant I didn't get involved with it, but definitely you can see it's had a very substantial run up. And unfortunately, just no follow through after this very, very big breakout right there. And it was just really hard to get into. I don't know if we talked exits. We barely talked entries on Atom. So, all right, next up is Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash really taking it on the chin here. Earlier, we were in the middle of this at about the 240 level. Now down at 214, 20% down for the day there. Atom down 26%, substantial drop. BNB was actually holding up a couple of days ago. BNB and Tron were up above their their alert levels. This one was chopping up, unfortunately. Too much selling pressure. BNB couldn't hold up and actually undercut this entire basic structure, which is not necessarily bullish at all. Again, a lot more patience is due here. BSV, lack of liquidity showing right there. Just a tremendous amount of downside movement. Looked at Dash a little bit ago. Dash has undercut almost everything right here. Really hard to get involved with. Had one good run out of this inverted head and shoulders and not much follow through after that. Tried to give it some opportunities, but never ended up panning out. Dash has been a non-starter for a while. EOS has just been all over the place. We did notice the head and shoulders. I didn't really draw it though. We could try to draw the head and shoulders and see where that lands us. All right, -3. I don't know. 1.6. -3. That's pretty funny. So EOS has been really a pain in the ass to deal with anyways, to be honest with you. EOS, XLM, BNB was almost a non-starter the entire run. Atom, XTZ, all just horrible coins to trade in the past cycle. So really no shocker when you have a huge move down in something in those names that I mentioned right there. IOTA was trying to come back earlier, was bouncing off the trend line, but you can see on the 2-hour time frame just no support. Distribution staying extraordinarily heavy and cracking the trend line right there. So not very good there. Litecoin, someone mentioned Litecoin. And Litecoin also one of the non-starter coins, unfortunately. Really hasn't been healthy for a long time. And quite a big wick, though, on the 2-hour time frame. Got down to 45, which is all the way back to our... We had an alert of 46, it looks like, down here. All the way back there. And then bouncing back. So from 45 up to 68, that's a pretty good move, but very choppy move. And not an easy hold. But this one actually with some legs underneath of it for whatever reason, finally. All right, so Neo was also trying to hold up before the whole thing fell apart. We had 2154 as our last alert level, and it just fell right apart. Loosely being supported by the trend line, but we'll see how that's going to work out. So far, probably not going to work out. Ontology, why is this up here? Get rid of that one. That's not a top 20 coin. Tron trying to go DeFi on us and actually giving it some validity for once in, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years. No one's really talked about Tron in a super bullish, super good light up until this recent run, which I can say is a little bit unexpected, but apparently those in the know, you know, a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see a move in the charts before you see the news on the internet. And this is a great example of that. So Tron getting really bullish. You wonder why. And they're trying to go DeFi to stay with the hype right now. Because that's all crypto's got. Crypto's pretty much got DeFi right now. That's about it. And I think DeFi is a good thing. They just have to find a way to take it outside of crypto for it to bring money back into crypto other than just recycling the same old fanboys through the system yet again. All right, so Tron on this last leg finally getting hit a little bit. Bit of a topping signal right there after the show. Yeah, I was rocking during the show. And it looks like we did get a topping signal up at the 5-cent level. So pretty substantial run for Tron. Getting some support here too. Still above a trend line right there. It's pretty good. Yeah, VET, this is not surprising at all for VET. We had a pie exit signal here. We tried to go up higher, faked it out, had no volume, and it's really been a non-starter. Could have short on either break of those trend lines right there with VET. XLM, oddly enough, only down 7%. Wow, I'd expect this to be another 20%er. That's on Coinbase, but if you look at XLM on Binance, it's down 15%. What's going on there? Did Tether fall apart or something? I don't think so. Yeah, looks like this last drop on XLM on Coinbase got bought up. That's definitely interesting compared to Binance, which dropped with the rest of the market. Um, that is weird. AJ, when do you think the crypto market will have its own mind rather than follow the stock market? I don't know, AJ. I thought we were kind of past it until the coronavirus, to be honest with you. Yeah, until the coronavirus hit. And then in reality, that really cemented it for me that there is definitely institution action inside, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, some larger institutions. I think, yeah, I really do think that it's interesting to see how correlated they are, especially with the COVID drop, until the Federal Reserve raised their liquidity requirements, or I should say, lowered their liquidity requirements. So at first, if you guys aren't aware of this, if you guys haven't heard me talk about this, I probably should do a video on on the correlation. But on this drop right here, we were in the middle of COVID, and I mean, Bitcoin was not doing too great, but it wasn't dying on a vine. It's just coming off kind of a rise right here. I mean, I had every expectation for it to kind of go back up, but we never had any buy signals. And then what happened is, in my opinion, the evidence to me is supportive of this. Evident by evidence, I mean the moves in the charts. Everything moved together. You saw gold drop, Bitcoin drop, stocks drop, FX drop. Everything dropped simultaneously. And I do believe that is because of U.S. banking requirements on leverage and having to raise capital. And then the Federal Reserve came out, and instead of just printing more money, they said, yeah, we'll just accept anything as capital. They're like, oh, really? Cool. So we'll just not sell everything that we own. And then, I mean, that's kind of what started us on this leg right here. And then, again, today with the market dropping and crypto dropping, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting how correlated it is, especially as I know a lot of really deep crypto fans think that it should be bucking the system, but it's now just part of it. For better or for worse, it's now just part of it. I mean, look, if you're going to put something of value out there in the world, who's going to buy it? The people with the money. So I guess you can't be too surprised, although it's not the ideal situation that a lot of people had hoped for. Missed a couple questions here. Let's see. Rimley got filled right at 10K with a tight stop loss of 9.9. Might get lucky. Yeah, maybe. Wow, Rimley, good job. Nice. Hey man, I'll take being lucky any day. Andrew says Bitcoin's just testing the 20 weekly EMA, nothing more. Does it routinely in a bull market? Okay. Market looks like an exit from USD fiat to me. I'm not quite sure what that means. An exit from USD. If it was an exit from USD. Oh, you're talking about stable coins. Oh, I see your secondary comment down there. Gotcha. Yeah, stable coins. It's really amazing. Crypto's a conundrum in and of itself. 13 billion in tether now, so quite amazing right there. What's the pi method? So actually, the pi method is a trading methodology that apparently I've been developing for the past couple of years, which I was unaware of until like a couple months ago. I was like, oh crap, this works. So the pi method is a trading methodology. It's a swing trading methodology that is not to tout it too much, but it's really the best thing I've seen in investing in a long time, and it is really it's how do I describe it? I haven't really thought about it that much. It's a swing trading methodology that basically stays with the price action and gives you some of the best exits in the market, hands down. Hands down. If all you do is trade pi method, you'd avoided every single dollar of this drop. Every single dollar. It's a great methodology. No, I don't, Topher. I don't have an algo for it. I don't know how to write algos, and It would take a while to get it to algo correctly. Yeah, it's not based on technical indicators, so it's which is why it works so well in my opinion. A lot of technical indicators can be fudged with, but price and volume not so much. How does market manipulation play into technical analysis? Asked Seven Shade. Well, everything. I mean, everything. If it's on the chart, it's in technical analysis. It's as simple as that. Technical analysis is the analysis of everything on the screen. Nothing more, nothing less. And manipulation is just part of it. Manipulation is just part of it. I mean, also, I think it just depends what you consider market manipulation. I used to get mad when people would talk about market manipulation because, while I do think it exists a little bit, um, it's not what people think it is. So I've been investing in the market for a very long time, and I've seen what appears to be manipulation. I've seen short-term manipulation. It's very hard to have long-term manipulation, though. Most manipulation comes in the form of stop hunting, but in reality, any money that is invested into the market is not manipulation. It's market action. So if someone wants to manipulate the market, what you have to remember is that they're putting money into the market to manipulate it. So by definition, they're just participating in the market in their own fashion. So not every drop is manipulation. People take profits. People go short. Not every rise is manipulation. People go long. People cover shorts. So it's all two sides of the same coin right there. In reality, so um, yeah, I don't really think of manipulation when I look at charts ever. I do think of stop hunting. I do think of certain characteristics of some technicals in the chart, but I don't think of it as manipulation because manipulation has a negative connotation, and you really should have an even keel when you're investing. So from that perspective, you just have to deal with the reality. And so if there is market manipulation, it's just part of your reality, and you have to deal with it. If you're going to be in the game, you have to play the game. So some questions coming about the pi method. There is no information about it yet. It's my method, so no one's. I've never seen anything quite like it. Um, and so I am putting a course together for it, and it'll be out at some point whenever I'm done with it. I'm bad at making courses, but this one's coming out pretty good, and I do have some editorial help. So it will be out when it's out. You guys will hear about it on the channel. Um, uh, Other than that, really the only place to find anything about it is in my power hour. Not trying to pump the power hour, but that's the only place you're going to hear about it because no one even knows about it. It's brand new. It's absolutely brand new. Thanks for answering the question and giving my perspective. Where can one learn? Oh, the Pi Method. Okay. um, yeah, really in my power hour is the only place you can learn about it right now. Like I said, I'm doing a course. Um, yeah, I'm doing a course. It'll be out when it's out. I'm not going to put out a substandard product, and which means it's taking a little bit. But if you guys are actually interested in it, maybe I'll get some fire up my ass to work on it. But yeah, so I mean, some of the power hour members can attest to the exits on the Pi method. In my opinion, you don't get better exits. I haven't seen any. No, it's not the profitability index. I'm not even sure what that is. What is that? Profit, is that an indicator? Hey, what's up, Shiny? How you doing? Profitability index. Let's check it out. Da, 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 da. I'm not sure if it's profitability index. Oh, no, it's PII. It's not PIE. It's PII. Yeah, no, you won't find it. You won't find it. I do have a website up for it, but it's not even close to being completed yet, so it's probably not even indexing on Google. Really, Shiny? That's amazing. That is amazing, Shiny. That's great. Just keep him out. I don't we haven't I don't remember if he went into the situation there, but yeah, I'm happy for you. Very happy for you. That's awesome. How long till this drop hits TRX? Well, it already hit it a little bit, Jokester. A little bit. uh, where is it at? Where is it? Oh, the date just changed 5 minutes ago. So yeah, I mean, it did hit it just on this last leg. You had a little bit of topping action right there, and that could have been an exit. Actually, it's not too bad. AJ says when price goes that's a good question. When price goes down by more than 10%, what is going through your mind? By that I mean is do you have a set strategy? If so, please share. Um and anytime I look at a chart, and I don't care if it's down 1%, up 1%, or down 10%, I take a look around. It doesn't matter what it is. I just take a look around. I approach pretty much every situation the same. And so I look at, so as you can see here, I've got a shorter term on my left and the daily on my right. This is pretty much how my screen's set up all the time. Speaking of which, that's way too wide on that. Um, well, just take Tron for instance. So Tron, we can go naked chart. Yeah, I mean, so this thing obviously has a big topping candle up here. We're seeing some resistance, and I look to see if there's support, and then I look to see if we've already had a run. Um, yeah, I like to see where we are in the cycle. I like to see, if we've run, how far we've run. I like to see if we're near highs. I like to see if we've already seen preliminary selling, and this is secondary or third leg, which this has been a third leg for this particular circumstance in Bitcoin. I like to look for the volume signature. Obviously, for me, is paramount. If you have like high volume bottoming action. Hey, what's up, free man? So, like for instance, on Ethereum right here, we're holding this support right here. So this gives some hope that we're able to extreme stream. This gives some hope that we're able to hold this. Although we're coming down with a lot of gravity, just a tremendous amount of volume on the daily chart right there. Um, yeah, I mean, so that's what I look for. I don't instantly freak out. It's definitely eye catching. I will say that it's definitely eye catching. That's one thing that when you get a 10% drop, you're like, oh, what's going on there? So I like to see if it's an initial 10% drop. I like to see if it's already been dropping. I like to see, like I said, where the volume comes in, where we are in the cycle. I mean, I just really a myriad of factors. And it happens relatively quickly. Relatively quickly. So like link on the daily time frame, a lot of volume over here. Low volume consolidation, just kind of waiting to see what's happening. Next leg is lower, so I'm really not too much interested in link up here right now. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure. That's probably about it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Hope that helps. Um, but see, here's the thing. So that's kind of how I look at when I see a 10% drop in, I won't say every circumstance because that's wrong. In many circumstances, before a 10% drop, we already have stops in and there are warning signs in a lot of circumstances. Usually, when a 10% drop arises, it's preceded by some stuff. Hey, what's up, Ted? Ted, you don't got to give me a super chat, but I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so I mean, like this by the time this 10% drop is in here, you already should have seen it. Unless you're lazy. Unless you're just being lazy. In which case you're missing everything. Um, yeah, it's one thing you cannot be in the market is lazy. You can't have stops not on the books. Um, you have to be paying. You have to be paying attention. Otherwise, you're just going to lose money. The lazy get hammered in the markets. It's just kind of a cardinal rule. If you're lucky, you're lazy in a bull trend and you make money. But overall, if you're lazy, that profit, if you have profit, will be removed from you in short order. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so by the time you see a 10% drop, not that you should see every drop in the market. This one's a little bit unexpected the other day. This big drop right there is a little bit unexpected. Um, but you shouldn't be caught by surprise after that. Like if you were caught off by that, that should have been your exit point, and you're saving yourself like 9%, 8.5% at this stage of the game. With ZRX, yeah, ZRX is I've been trying to give that opportunities. It just really won't. It really won't do anything. Um, ZRX actually had a really nice cup and handle. Did have a nice little run. Did have a nice little run here. 100%. That's a little run. But then it just kind of stalled out and then ended up going nowhere. Really, in reality, it's kind of went nowhere on us, and yeah, it was almost a non-starter. Um, there was a lot of coins doing some good moves. ZRX wasn't the best pattern in my opinion, but I mean, this right here was obviously a very substantial run right there from a few days ago. Topher was lazy in BTC from 15 to 17, lucked out. Hey man, better to be lucky than good. Better to be lucky than good. Let me tell you that. I'm pretty good, and whenever I'm lazy, I just get my ass handed to me. That's the number one lesson here is don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Well, we seem to have kind of stalled out. Crypto, not nice to have any leverage and be in accumulation mode. This is just another buying opportunity. Yeah, so that could bring we could talk let's talk a little bit about that larger cycle in Bitcoin right now. Someone mentioned earlier this is just a test of the 20 weekly EMA, and it does this many times during a bull market. Yeah, I have no problems with that. I mean, if you're accumulating Bitcoin for a longer term and you want to buy on some of these dips, that's fine. I think that's fine as long as you understand your strategy. The problem is there's a lot of people out there that only want the upside and don't want to participate in the downside. And what ends up is when you get down, you end up selling because you don't want it to go down anymore. Well, you kind of have to, if you're going to stay with it, you got to stay with it. So if you're going to stay with it and you have cash on hand, you get these drops of 10, 20%. What's our drop so far here on BTC? About 18%. You got to add it, especially if you're in a hodl mentality. If you think we've bottomed and the bottom's in and this is capitulation, which it is, then yeah, you're buying the dips and stuff. Yeah, Ted's accumulating. That's great, Ted. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that here. Um, One thing I'm not so sure on. So I don't know who else talks about market cycles as much as I do because I don't watch pretty much anyone on YouTube. But I mean, I'm really big into market cycles, like really big into market cycles. And Bitcoin the past year has been tricky because it hasn't been a very clear market cycle. And I was hoping that this move here would start to solidify us, at least to stop the downside movement and go up. And if you go back to 2015, and I'm not giving this a one-to-one correlation, but if you go back to 2015 here, we did end up with these egregious sideways. That's funny. Grab two lines. You did end up with these really, really large sideways trend lines here, right? And we could be in a situation where we're in something like this, where we have a larger sideways action that doesn't necessarily go anywhere, but can shake you out a lot. A lot. So you have to keep that in mind. If you have a longer term perspective and you're hodling Bitcoin, maybe even Ethereum and some of the top alts, there's a good possibility that you're just going to want to hold on, especially if you're not going to be hawking the charts, and you're only be trading every once in a while. You may just I would almost rather build a hodl position than be a very active trader at this stage of the game. Especially, I mean, we just had a huge drop, so this would be a good time to add to a hodl position. And then if you are going to actively trade, that's fine, but you have to exhibit quite a bit of patience because the market rewards patient traders, guys. There's a saying that I came up with the other day, and I wrote it down. It says, the more patient you are, the faster your profits will come. And I got to say, that's just super true. I've been trading for many years, very unprofitably for many years. And it seems like an eternity. And the second I started to turn the corner and practice good trading principles and was managing my risk, or even learning to manage my risk and learning to bank my profits and learning to be patient, profits came pretty quickly. I mean, everyone wants to be a millionaire overnight, Lambo, moonshot, Mars, rockets, whatever, and they want it to happen tomorrow. But I mean, most of those days are gone unless you're just super lucky in some DeFi ICO or something. Those days are gone, and most of the people that do that, most of them aren't going to keep all that money because they're going to have a messiah complex and they're likely to lose it during the next bear cycle when they're too long something. Too much leverage, like Ted was saying, too much whatever. You've got to buckle down and do the hard work, and then figure out whatever works. Whatever works for you, and then just do that a lot. Just do that a lot, and wait for the setup. Wait for the setup is very key. Very key, and I really in my courses I've already done my setup and entry. Really harken on waiting for the setup. I have a whole course on setup, strict, because it's very important to wait for the setup. You can't just, people do a lot of boredom trading, and I do some boredom trades. I'm not perfect. Let me preface that. I'm not a perfect trader. I'm a very good analyst. But I'm not a perfect trader. I don't know who is a perfect trader, but we all do boredom trades. We all overtrade from time to time. Hey, what's up, Batman? I mean, we all have these. Everyone has usually most of the same negative traits. It's kind of interesting. It's just, how fast you can get over that hump for those negative traits, so you can start being profitable. And one of those is being patient. Absolutely being patient. So, I mean, if you got a job and you're going to pump in $100 a week into Bitcoin or even some other investment that has a long-term viability, yeah, I think that patience is going to pay off. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have an account that's up huge. ADHD trader, yeah, get in the power hour. I'll stop that, or at least try to. Yeah, I like to yell at people. Not really. I don't really yell at people, but if here's one thing. You either have to hold yourself accountable or someone has to hold you accountable. Someone has to I'll hold you accountable if you speak. You have to speak. Yeah, like, I don't know what you're doing. So if you're like Mike in the Power Hour, he comes in and talks about a couple of his trades, not something super in depth, but anytime someone talks about their trades, I really try to infer what they're saying effectively and try to help them with their weakness, because we've all got weaknesses and we all need to be held accountable. I mean, and I can do my best to hold you accountable because it's really, really hard to hold yourself accountable. It's very, very difficult. Topher saying stocks. Dude on Bloomberg just said growth is dead. Do you agree? Well, I guess I don't know. I guess what kind of growth is he talking about? I think coronavirus has taken a trajectory that many people were hoping it would not take. I know I was hoping with the coronavirus for kind of a, we would, I said the market is pricing in essentially one leg down. And we ended up getting multiple closures and reclosing and things like that. Now here we are. This thing started in early March. Some people say January. And here we are, like at least 6 months later, And things are slowly getting better, but it's still slowly, and they don't have a vaccine out yet. It's probably going to take a good year for things to get back to the way they were 6 months ago, 7, 8 months ago. So, anytime someone says something is dead, they're just trying to get headlines. So I would say growth is, I mean, it's definitely slowed. Every single economic number is down except for unemployment. And that's real. So is growth dead? Sure. But did the stock market just go on a crazy massive run? Absolutely it did. And I guess who took advantage of that? I mean, market taking a shit right there. Yeah, I mean, guess who took advantage of that? Traders. Traders are able to take advantage of this. And this, I I've got to say this coronavirus market drop and the Federal Reserve deciding to give away every dollar they could to Wall Street was just a gift to traders, an absolute gift to traders. You've had, I mean, the amount of runs that have come out of here, something you usually see once every couple of years. The last time I saw a run, at least in my account, was 27 right here. This leg right here was the last time I was really able to do what I was able to do right here. Um, did pretty good right here. I will say I did pretty good right there too. But really right here, we did pretty good here too. I mean, yeah, really most of these legs, all these legs. But just the sheer number of stocks going up like well over 100%. You don't see that very often. Extraordinarily rare circumstances. And it'll come back at some point. I mean, today was a big drop at the market. We're now down 1.43% on the futures, it looks like. Let's take a look. Yeah, so gap down open on the futures right there. I mean, so we'll see what ends up happening tomorrow, but yeah, today was a bad day in the stock market, no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt about that. Some traders like bear markets better. No, maybe. Yeah, there's people called perma bears that are always trying to short everything and tend to be a half glass half empty type of people. And I don't know if they like bear markets better, but I have a feeling that a lot of the bear market traders just like to buy lower. I don't know. I don't know too many of them. I was in a chat room once for a guy named Dan Zanger, and there was a guy and there was a perma bear, and it was very interesting because I never actually encountered one. Even really haven't encountered one since then. They tend to shut up because they're always wrong because the market has an upside bias, so bears are typically wrong. They're often more wrong than they're right. Um, so yeah, maybe I don't know. I prefer to stay out, stay sideways during those time frames. Money printing is unsustainable. Probably 6 to 12 months left till it starts unraveling, says Third Eye. Yeah, no one knows if we unravel and when we unravel. I'm also in the camp that you can't. I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading of Ray Dalio's stuff, who's big on macro, like big macroeconomic cycles. If you know about Ray Dalio, if not, look him up. Principles.com. He has. Actually, I'm just chatting into a screen. You guys are watching a stupid chart. So if you go to Principles, the changing world order. That is some big text right there, ladies and gentlemen. Where we are and where we're going. So you can actually read this now. You don't have to buy the book. You can just go straight to read now. And so he talks about big picture in a tiny nutshell. This is a good read if you're very interested in the very macro of the U.S. losing its world power status and losing its reserve currency status, which it looks like we're starting to do just that, is lose our world reserve currency. And so, I mean, that could be a good thing for Bitcoin if people in the U.S. need to get out of the U.S. in a hurry. They may move into Bitcoin, may cause a big spike in something like Bitcoin in terms of a very easily movable digital gold, which Bitcoin is, versus a physical gold, which physical gold would likely spike as well. But if that does occur, then, I mean, at least be educated, at least read up. I'm not saying this guy is 100% right, but hell, he does a lot more research than I've done. So, Probably a lot more research than Peter Schiff too, who's probably the other guy that you in here 50? I'm not sure if 50's in here, but he knows the name of another gentleman that you can read up to, similar to what Ray Dalio is talking about. But I think he's another gold bug that's been talking about this stuff for 20 years. Eventually they'll be right. The replacement for the dollar, I don't think anybody knows, Topher. I don't think anyone knows what the replacement for the dollar is going to be. He's saying the Chinese renminbi. Since we're talking about it and you guys are half-ass interested, big cycles over the last 500 years. You can read chapter 1 and chapter 3. Chapter 2 is very dry because this guy is essentially, he likes economic porn. Okay, so here's a good one. So typical big cycles behind empires. You can see right here, peace and prosperity, productive growth. This is coming out of World War II, actually, for the United States right there. Debt bubble and big wealth gap. And so we're kind of right here on the way down in terms of that. So hopefully just cresting here. The U.S. is capable, in my opinion, of pulling us out, but our leaders are too stupid. And too much of chicken shit. They're all chicken shits. All of them. They're all too chicken shit to do anything about it. Absolutely too chicken shit. And so, and this is kind of a good graph here as well. So this goes back to 1500, ladies and gentlemen. See if I can zoom in on there. What just happened? I zoomed in and my chart went away. Come on. Seriously, where the hell did it go? How did it drop me down that far? Uh, Shoot. Damn it. Oh, that's why. Okay, so there's that one. There. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So this is a chart that goes back to 1500, and I think this is very telling because a lot of people try to think of things for the past 20 years, the past 50 years. This guy's going back 500 years and this is arguably, this may go back a little bit early, but this is arguably the dawn of our current economic system, like the model. And so here you can see China was doing good. Then the Netherlands came up in the Western world, and the Dutch kind of ruled for 100 years. And then now you have the British dominated for 100 years, then the US dominated for 100 years, and you can see where they cross right here, where they cross right here, and then now look, US and China crossing. So in theory, China is going to be taking the mantle from the United States. And the question you have to ask yourself is, and this is why I think the US has an opportunity maybe to reverse this, is do you want China in control of the global economy? That's a question you have to ask yourself. And they're not. I don't think anyone's asking that question. I think they're just passively letting it happen. And that's my opinion. And then if the U.S. dollar does decline in terms of dominance, us people in the United States are going to have to make a decision about what we do with our capital. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, if you're interested in this, please check it out. It's a good read. Yeah, I liked it. You may not. I don't know, but I liked it. So these three are good to read, especially the one in the U.S. I think is a pretty good read right there. And then yeah, one is good too. If you read chapter 1, it's kind of a dry read, but it does a good job of talking about. Because keep in mind, this is Ray Dalio. He's got a team, and yeah, he's got a team. So they're doing all kinds of work over there. All right, so market bouncing a little bit here, guys. We'll see if it's able to. Batman says, hit the like button. That's right, hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Ted says, I don't think the president wants China to rule. Well, unfortunately, it's not up to him. It's not up to any president of the United States who gets to be the world's reserve currency. As a matter of fact, you would argue that every president has slowly contributed to the fact that we will not be the world's reserve currency, just simply by our deficit spending, capital printing, and lack of productivity. And Well, not really like the manufacturing, kind of harping that out. But in all honesty, I know um, Biden will save us. Yeah, no one's going to save us. No one, because no one's talking about it. Trump's not even talking about it. Biden's not talking about it. No one's talked about it. Bernie Sanders didn't talk about it. Ron Paul didn't talk about it. No one's talked about it. It's kind of like Chris Rock in his stand up said, saying, everyone's got a molester uncle. This is the molester uncle that no one talks about. Everyone knows who it is, but no one wants to kick his ass. I'll say this, Rob. That's right. Randy for president. Write me in. Write me in. So yeah, I don't know. Treasury Secretary. Now, just get me president. I'll make some good moves. I won't make stupid moves. I'll tell you that one right now. I think I'd make a pretty decent president, at least for what I'm good at. The stuff I'm not good at would make a good president. um, Kyle Bass, who's that? You have an immediate anti-authority reaction to Dalio? How? What do you mean anti-authority? How is he an authority? He's a guy that wrote some stuff. He's not really. I wouldn't call him an authority. I'd call him a guy that's done some research and posted a paper. Third eye, looks like I missed your comment up there. Shiny says one day is not a bear market. I agree with that, Shiny. Absolutely. I like the analysis of Dr. Marcus Kroll, a German former banking insider. He thinks we will go from deflation to high inflation when the central bank balance sheet becomes larger than the GDP. Hasn't that already happened? I'll have to take a look into that. Sid says, I read somewhere China's GDP will 3x the US in the next 20 years. Just saying. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, our crypto market looks like I kind of jumped in towards the bottom here, which is kind of nice, to be honest with you. It's kind of nice. So this last leg on the Bitcoin drop is very interesting because it's not. Yeah, it was on a little bit lower volume, so it's hard to say this is over without a major bottoming candle. But hopefully we can reverse out of this, and that just means there's less selling pressure. That would be the best part of that there. Third Eye says the banks will need trillions in bailouts, which will get us to hyperinflation, not just in the U.S. Everything is too connected now. Yeah, it is. It is really very connected. Look, I think there's alternative ways to do this. But the problem is the second. See, here's the thing: is that we drop the economic stuff drops, we print a bunch of money, it goes up, and we do nothing. When the market is healthier, healthish, and not dropping like a stone, we don't do anything. That is the exact time to address an issue like this. When the market is healthy, when the economy is healthy, you make moves, okay? You just have to make moves. Otherwise, in the end, you have nothing. You know? It's kind of like someone that borrows on his credit cards when he's unemployed to pay his bills, and he gets a job and never pays off his credit cards. But, well, no, when you have the job, you really have to get to work on those credit cards to pay that debt off. Because, at some point in time, you're going to get fired again because you're kind of a loser and you're going to need those credit cards again. But we don't do that. We don't do that. We just, it's party like it's 1999, since 1999 is really what it is. So, I mean, I don't think the banks would need trillions in bailouts if we did something like that. If the if Washington got off their ass and made the banks solvent, made them to the point where they don't need any bailouts. So, YOLO, yeah, that's how the United States is working right now, Ted, is YOLO. We're absolutely YOLOing it into the hills. Topher says, every time he hears Ray Dalio speak, it sounds like he's stating his ideas as if they're facts. I'll say this about Ray Dalio. The guy's a hedge fund manager, so when he has an idea, they usually act on it, and so to him they kind of do have to be facts. To him they kind of do have to be facts. Read it, take your own opinion, do what you're going to do. I'm not saying you have to. In fact, as a matter of fact, in his books, he doesn't necessarily make any recommendations, so you don't have to do anything. It's just some stuff to read. So, and all I gotta say is you can argue, and I can argue that out of everyone that's ever watched this stream that we're doing right now, he's done more research on this topic than everyone combined. That is probably a fact. Deeper, the breadth is wider. Like I said, he's got a team behind him. He's been doing this stuff since the 1960s. So he's pretty good at it. So anyway. Rob doesn't pay his credit cards. Your hoes do. Hey, can they pay my credit cards too? Let me go rack up some credit card debt so they can pay it off. That'll work out pretty good. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Actually, I smell dinner. It's 5:35 here in Arizona, so I'm going to go eat. So, hey, I'd like to thank you guys for the chat today. Good chat. Yeah, good questions. We got off some crypto topics, onto some macroeconomic stuff. Shiny, glad to hear your husband's coming back. That is phenomenal. Good to see you, Ted. Ryan, good to see you. Rob, Topher, nice. I think you've been on here before. Nice meeting you. But yeah, if you do want some help with that and you want to be held accountable, feel free to join the Power Hour. I guarantee it'll probably save you more than if you're losing on your own. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.